Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. First published in 1937. Character list. George. George is a short man and travels with his best friend Lenny. Even though he complains how much easier his life would be without Lenny, he still cares for him. George wants to protect Lenny and wants to get them to the farm of their dreams, and he describes this farm a lot throughout the book. Since Lenny has the child mentality, he believes all of George's stories and etc. His loyalty is challenged at the end of the book. Lenny. Lenny has a mental disorder and is very dependent on George for everything. Lenny travels with George and visions having a farm together. Lenny's physical shape is very buff and bold. He doesn't understand how strong he actually is, and this leads to disaster when he pets soft things such as people's hair or dogs. Candy is the handyman on the farm, but feels useless because he is very old and only has one hand. When he hears about George and Lenny's farm, he wants to be a part of it and offers his life savings. He is forced to kill his own dog, which foreshadows Lenny's death. Curly's wife. She is known to be the distraction to all the men on the farm. She is also the only woman on the farm and is the owner's daughter-in-law. At first you see her as a villain, but as the book goes on, the reader learns that she is very broken and very lonely. Crooks. Crooks is a black bitter man, and he lives separately from everyone else because he is black. And he is a very stubborn and sarcastic, and it was shocking when he grew fond of Lenny. Curly. Curly is the boss's son. He is the antagonist in the book. He is very possessive of his wife. He loves to get into fights so he can prove himself that just because he's small doesn't mean he can't win a fight. Summary. We first learned about Lenny and George when they were let off of a bus in California, only a few miles away from where they are about to start working. While they stop to drink some water, the reader learns the nature of George and Lenny. We find that Lenny loves to pet soft things, has been carrying a dead mouse. George gets mad when he finds it. As he starts to complain about taking care of Lenny, Lenny starts to get sad. So George tells him about tending the rabbits when they get on the ranch. They meet all the characters, including Curly's wife, which Lenny thinks is pretty because she flirts with him. George senses trouble, so he tells Lenny to stay away from her. They meet Slim, who suggests to shoot Candy's dog. The next day, George confesses to Slim to why they were forced to leave their last job. Because Lenny was petting a woman's dress and got accused of rape. The day after, Curly and Lenny get into a fight, leaving marks on Curly's face. Curly's wife wants to know what happened, but Curly says it was a machine. The next day, Lenny accidentally kills a puppy. Curly's wife comes to comfort Lenny and starts to talk about her broken dreams. This is where the reader starts to feel bad for Curly's wife. This is where Lenny tells Curly's wife that he loves to pet soft things, and she offers him to play with her hair. Then Lenny brushes through her hair and Curly's wife starts to not like it. So she tries to pull away, but Lenny pulls too hard, breaking her neck. Lenny gets scared and runs to George and Lenny's hiding spot by the lake, where George meets him. George isn't mad and starts to calm Lenny down by talking about their dream farm. George hears a lynch party approach, so he kills Lenny out of mercy. This brings us to the end of the book. Importance of the title and book. The title of the book comes from a poem written by Robert Burns, a Scottish poet from the 18th century. The title basically says that the mouse from the poem and George and Lenny from the book were waiting and planned for something good to happen in their life, but it was destroyed before it even happened. In this case, Lenny dying. So we can relate this to ourselves because we set ourselves up and our expectations too high and usually comes in between us. That is the importance of this book.